CEDDMACK, it's a beautiful thing.
Musictechworks. Musictechworks.
What's up, good people? This is CEDDMACK. Welcome to Musictechworks. So, as you already know or figured out already, I do have the MPCe Live 3. It actually, Sweetwater dropped a video at 12 midnight on the 2nd, and probably about 12:03 I already had it in the cart, had it ordered and everything. I already knew I was going to get it. I'll go over my reasons why. I gave you a few reasons why not to buy it, and if money's not an issue or it's something that you want to invest in, I give you a few reasons why you should buy it. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I did, I took notes and I tried to just kind of organize this, and I just wrote this out so to try to make this smooth without it being a super long video. But if it sounds like I'm reading, it is what it is, because I am reading. So if you want the latest and most powerful MPC spec wise to date, with the least limits to system resources and with capabilities not available on the previous generations, get the MPCe Live 3. You got an 8-core processor, CPU, 8 gigs of RAM, etc., pads, morphing, Ableton Live-like workflow, and I wouldn't say it is exactly the Akai Force, but it's close. So here goes some of the specs right here that you will not get in any other MPC on the market. So we're just gonna, all right, everybody read all that. Everybody seen J Black. I met J Black. He's pretty cool. I actually bought his one of his 2500s from him a while ago. All right, so a lot of people hate on the pads, but I think the pads are good. They're a little bit soft, but once you get the feel of them, they're okay, just like any other MPC or any other kind of controller. But MPC stuff does have some pads that they created if you want to go on there and check it out. So let's go to some of the specs here. All right, so you got the 8-core processor, 8 gigs of RAM. The previous version had the 4-core, so you got double the power and 8 gigs of RAM. Of course, Pro Pack comes with all these extra goodies, and we talked about that. Got the clip matrix, Ableton Live-like production style, and it's really great for live as well. And you can record to the arranger, which is cool. I never really got into Ableton as much as I should, but people are calling me about it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the Push 3 and get back on it. Now you got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Bluetooth, you're gonna have to see exactly what that is for. Got the built-in microphone, which I think is good for field recording, doing quick demos, and just sampling live sounds. Got Honorable C note on here, and here are the comparisons to the Live 2. Basically the same as the Live 1 without the speaker. All right, and then another thing that I noticed that was a lot of people are not talking about is the actual polyphony. You also got 32 tracks, all right, versus 8. And audio tracks, you got 16 versus 8. Got the new time stretching algorithm. I demonstrate that in my next video. Here we go. App Max Polyphony, 256 stereo voices, 64 stereo voices in the old machine. Just allows you to use more sounds. I do a lot of scoring, so I always wanted to use the MPC for scoring before I was limited, unless I was using it in controller mode. But here, I think we got the polyphony for a, maybe a 50-piece orchestra or something, just depending on what I'm scoring. All right, then you got your heavy hitters given. I heard one guy was kind of hating on the content creators on the hyping up the MPC Live 3, but it is what it is, so not mad at that. All right, so with it being the most powerful MPC, that is number one reason. Another reason I would buy the MPC Live 3 is if you want the hands-on MPC experience with the modern workflow, comparable to classic MPCs combined with producing music on a computer. So let's get this straight. First of all, making music on an MPC versus making music on a computer is not the same thing. All right, so yes, the MPC is a computer. Technically, all MPCs from 1988 up to the present are computers. And any device with software and hardware components is a computer. All right. So when people say, oh, now it's just a computer, they're showing their ignorance of the facts, as far as in my opinion, because all of them are computers. Even the Machine Plus is a computer. A calculator is a computer. Okay, the Roland TR-1000 is a computer, hardware and software. Now, what is not a computer? A Ludwig acoustic drum set is not a computer. So now you can say, I can make a beat in FL Studio on my PC, and you know what? I can do the same thing that they're doing on the MPC. So in my opinion, the outcome, it'll be similar, but it's not the same as working directly on the MPC. This is something most won't understand, especially if they are new to music production with MPCs. It started out making beats on the computer with a mouse, typing keyboard, and maybe a MIDI controller. So working on the MPC is similar to musicians going into the studio and playing instruments. In the modern world, is mostly programming and arranging MIDI and audio files. So the fun is playing the MPC like an instrument, although you're technically programming it. So yeah, you're playing it, you are programming it, just like you would do in FL Studio. But it's the hands-on of the machine that makes it fun. So with the modern features, you can choose how you want to produce. The rack in FL Studio is basically a step sequencer. The step sequencer in the Live 3 can be programmed the same way. Now, many who have issues keeping up with timing using the click or metronome now get some help with staying on beat. And it's one of the biggest issues that I have when training someone on the MPC, especially when they come from a computer world, and especially FL Studio. No shade to FL Studio. You set your tempo and you just fill in the step sequencer. There you go, you got a beat. So this is now on the MPC Live 3 as well. Keep this in mind, the step sequencer on the Live 3 can be programmed the same way. Many who have issues keeping up with the timing using the click or metronome now got some help staying on beat. One of the biggest issues I have when training someone on the MPC coming from the computer, especially FL Studio, is that they cannot stay on beat. Ear-hand coordination is a must most of the time. I'm gonna say that because you really don't need it anymore if you're just clicking notes and adding in parts with the mouse or with your finger or your touch screen, whatever you're using. Computers have sort of gotten us away from music theory, and that's for some of us, not all of us. But that's a whole different topic to tackle in the near future. So now the MPCs technically have had step sequencing. Even the British MPCs have step or event editing. It's really tedious though, but you can see your notes in there. You can add things inside of the step editor. So the step sequencer is not new, but the buttons versus the pads for step sequencing makes this a worthy feature worth upgrading. And especially if you're used to step sequencing. And more on working on the hardware MPC, it becomes an extension of your musical soul. There is something different about playing the parts in, especially with no quantizing or with very little time correction. It's a different experience. Mostly everyone I mentor who stepped into the MPC world love the hands-on experience. And mostly everyone I mentor dump their dolls, but most are going that route because of the hands-on experience with the MPC alone. So this can go for other hardware music production gear, but there's something special about using a standalone MPC. Even in controller mode, you don't have to look at the computer screen. Even in controller mode, you don't have to look at the computer screen. You can experience the MPC in the most powerful incarnation yet. As a side note, I would argue that the MPC 4000 might be the most powerful MPC, which was way ahead of its time. So maybe we'll do an MPC 4000 video, but hey, for dog-like production, let's stay on the Live 3. Upgrading to the Live 3 is basically making you future-proof for things to come. So Akai isn't slowing down at all. Now, I hear that Arteria is working with Akai to bring their sounds on board and standalone. So wishful thinking for sure. I wish this was true. I don't know if it's true or not. I just heard that that's what they're doing. They're working with a lot of vendors to bring their instruments, to be able to be loaded in the MPC in standalone mode. So with that being said, try running a few instances of Arteria instruments native instruments, and factory plugins on the Live 2 with the quad-core process. Now, you would really need to use resource management. Scoring on the previous MPC might be impossible. Many new expansions will be in MPCe format, and eventually the previous generation may not be able to even run feature updates of the OS. That's another reason to go ahead and update to the MPC Live 3. Let's go to our next reason. With the MPC Live 3, you get sounds for days. Okay, so the website, let's see what the website says, so you won't think I'm making this up. All right, so as we can see right here, included sounds and samples. So you have access to over 1,000 MPC rated drum kits and instruments, along with the collection of premium plug-in instruments for instant inspiration. Now, you can start buying sample packs for a little while if you want to. Most of them are recycled anyway, just people just getting sounds that they already have and repackaging them. And I can tell, and a lot of people can tell, but you know, we love sample packs, so it is what it is. But let's set the record straight on the Akai plug-in instrument. So I've been using the hardware and plug-in instruments for decades, including the usual suspects like Complete, Omnisphere, Akai Multimedia, Roland Phantom, Yamaha Motif, Core Triton, and many other new invented synths. So they sound better than good, and some even sound great. Fabric rivals Omnisphere, okay? So when people say the sounds are thin or weak, what are they listening to? I don't get it. So I click on their pages and it's not the sounds for most of them, but more on that later. We'll talk about that later. So the sounds are comparable to some of the hardware and most software packages on the market, past and present. And I'm beginning to learn it's a matter of understanding sound selection and a heavy reliance on presets. So I'll say this, but you know, just being honest, it's hard to beat hardware instruments. But for plugins, the Akai instruments are just as capable. You know, they're just as capable. And you, as a producer, not just a beat maker, could tweak any sound to make it what you want. Here's a little bit of advice. Stop depending on presets solely and separate yourself from other producers. And with the gang of content included with the Live 3, there is no excuse about not having enough sounds. Just an excuse at this point. So, sample pack this, sample pack that. It's cool, but with this one, you get all kind of stuff. And I mean, I'm going through it one video. I'm gonna go through most of the sound packs. It'll be all day. So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on the converters. I spoke with my mentor and he's like, hey, you know, it is what it is. Stir the pot or leave it alone. So I chose to pretty much leave it alone. But I will say this. So the Live 3 has modern day audio converters and options to use high quality interfaces. The converters in the new generation MPCs are modern converters and are not emulations of vintage analog and digital gear. So what you put in it is what you get out of it, period. No one is going to buy a track because you use a certain drum machine to make a beat. Now, if it sounds good while using that drum machine to make a beat, great. You know, and it moves them to create, fantastic. So I think it's more important for us to continue to develop our craft while having a focus on sound. So sound doesn't matter if the beats are not that great. So, and that is a subjective statement. Everybody's opinion on whether a beat is good is subjective. There's no definite yes or no, but things get proven once you put it out there. And let's see how the people act. But, you know, I know some people now, they got $100,000 invested in analog gear and they still are not able to put a dent in the music industry. So I've heard some really bad sounding hit records. So the songs and beats, what they did move the crowd and they evoked emotion. So I know platinum artists who came straight out of Logic to the radio to #1, medium budget, $500 mics, and they might even record into the older Digidesign 002 interface. And I know this for a fact because I used to engineer for them. And they record in Logic and we would mix with stock plugins, not touching any outboard gear, master with Akai Multimedia's T-Racks, which I still use today. The songs evoked emotion and became hits. So as I continue to grow, and I'm gonna put this on me, you know, and you can feel how you want to feel about it with yourself. But as I continue to grow, even after 3 decades as a musician, for all of us, it may be a good idea to also focus on the art of songwriting and production. I see a lot of people trashing the converters on the new gen MPCs, but when I listen to the music, I can't hear anything remarkable most of the time. Okay, all right, so not saying it's not good, you know, it's just when I'm in a meeting and we listen to tracks, and this including my tracks too. All my tracks don't get picked. I probably have to play 100 tracks for somebody to pick one, because every artist is different. Everybody has a different taste. It don't mean that the tracks are not good. It could mean that they're not good. You know, I had to get it hard. I talk about that in another video when I was coming up and trying to make it, and had my meeting with the A&R, and he told me some things, and I was like, wow, okay, I get it. But if you go back and check out my intro video to the channel, I'll tell that story. So even the ones with the ASR10 or MPCe 3000 with 500 series channel strips all over the place, you know, they got all the stuff in the studio that you need, and they're still not able to make a dent. It's because we need to get to the fundamentals of music production and just learning basic things like song structure. Guy did a beat on the MPCe 3000, brought it to the studio, fire, you know. It was tracked out, WAV files. The hook was 7 bars, the verse was 13 bars. It was weird, just basic stuff, you know. We just got to get better and help each other. So I'll leave it at that with the converters. But the MPC Live 3 does sound good out the box. It depends on how you use it. Is it gonna sound as good as an analog drum machine out the box? I would say no, okay? But does it sound bad? No. And just for me, the reason I got it, all right? Number one, I'm an MPC head, okay? All right, anything MPC come out except for the MPC 500 and probably I did have the MPC Studio MK2. I did have that. I will buy it. Most of the time is out of curiosity. Okay, so I'm gonna start here. MPC heads and gear lover, you know, go ahead and get it. Are you a collector? Go ahead and get it. Do you have a teaching service like I have? Go ahead and get it. Get it because you want it without negative influence impacting your decision. So I think my reasons to not get it, for the most part, was reasonable when I did the last video. And I did expect a lot of people to disagree, but believe it or not, most people agreed with me. I had a couple of trolls on there, which is fine. Trolls are funny to me, typing in their mama's basement, you know, it's cool. And I'm gonna tell you why. I mean, for me, let me just speak for me, because I can't speak for anybody else. So things change when you put your hands on it. You can look at it, oh, it's ugly, the buttons, this and that, all the colors, the quadrant pads, oh, it's ugly. But when you put your hands on it, it's a wrap, it's over. I done probably had 5 or 6 people come over here and they weren't gonna get it at first. They got it now, okay? So, and to keep it real and to update on my backstory from the last video, my guy did about the MPC Live 3, which was great. So, but it's been over a week, okay? And he says he's getting to it. To keep it real, there wasn't a real need for him to rush into it, but he got it. So I would say, you know, maybe rush into it because it sold out in most places. And then I think the next batch is probably gonna be next month sometime. So to the person who said I was trying, let me get on my comments here. So to the person who said I was trying to get him to get my Live 2, all right, so that wasn't true. Yeah, I was trying to get him to get the Live 2, but it wasn't to stop him from buying the Live 3. And by the way, the Live 2 is a very still capable machine. And will I sell mine? Maybe so. As a matter of fact, I'll just tell you right now, I just sold it like today, okay? All right, and the person who got it is in good hands. Let's just say I got a good price for it, all right? And it was more than $700. That was brand new. Basically, I barely used it because I do most of my work in the studio now, so. And then just remember this, with all the tariffs and everything, yeah, it's priced a little higher. I'm thinking it's just me guessing, you know, things coming from China and Taiwan. You're probably paying an extra couple of $100 in tariffs, okay? I don't know what the deal is now because I haven't watched the news in maybe in about a week or so. But another reason to get it now, get it while the price is what it is. And you can wait. If you want to get it brand new, the price might be higher, it might be lower. And after a while, those who made the decision, who jumped too fast and spent that money, they may want to sell theirs if it's too late to return it. So I would just keep an eye on, I did find one used one on Reverb, and he wanted $15.99 for it, like $100 difference. But he's gonna make up for it for the shipping. So those are my reasons to get the Live 3 now. Hey, don't break the bank. Don't put yourself in a bad financial situation. If you want it, you can get it. Go ahead and get it. I always say, life is short. Go ahead and enjoy it. If you don't sell one beat off this thing, have fun making beats on it. Anything that you're working on. So, me, I'm a teacher. I have some things going on in the industry. I don't do a lot of name dropping. I prefer to stay behind the scenes. I'll start releasing more information as things, finalize. I don't know if you want it, get it. If you want it, get it. Don't let anybody whisper anything, compare it to the other machines. No, it's not gonna hit like a 3000. No, it's not gonna hit like an MPC 60, which I do have. I have an SB1200 that I'm gonna have in the studio for about a week, and I'm gonna do a lot of work with that. It's not gonna hit like that, but for modern music and for what the sound is now, might work. And like I said, it is what you put in it. So we'll just wrap up here, and on the next video, I pulled up a couple of things and I made a beat. So it'll be the second beat I made. And we'll just go from there. Thank you for watching, subscribing, liking, sharing. And we out.